So let me show you how these containers work. With normal containers, what happens is the root just grows to the outside and then starts to wrap. Well, these containers are specifically designed to stop that from happening. Okay, so what happens here is when the root hits the sidewall, it starts to turn, and it hits this wall, which directs it down towards the air hole where it's pruned. Now, when that root's pruned, that's when it's going to produce the secondary roots, creating this extremely fibrous root system. And that fibrous root system, that's where the plants can take up more nutrient and water, much better than these damaged roots that are getting wrapped around the outside. So these fibrous roots, much more productive. Okay? So these are called the root builders. Okay? And the root builders come in these 4 sizes. Okay? We have a 1 gallon round and square. Okay? Then we have a 3 gallon and a 5 gallon. One thing that you'll notice is that all of our pots are really low profile. The 3 and the 5 gallon, they're the same height. That's really important for indoor growing because we have a limited height often. Then over here, these are called the Root Builder 2s. These are the next generation of these pots. The biggest difference is, one you can see right off the bat, is that you have a lot more air holes. So the roots don't have to be directed to those air holes as much. Another thing about these containers, here, these containers come in a sheet like this, and I'm going to show you how we assemble them, but they're really convenient. You can have a bunch of them under your arm, really easy to carry in comparison to having 50 pots like this. 50 of these sheets that all sit one into each other, comfortably fit under your arm, easy for transport. Okay. Other advantages of these containers is for outdoor growing. What they were designed with, so all these air holes are going to help keep the containers cool. The other thing that they do is you can notice that they're on an angle. So what happens is the sun hits the top of these and it shades the bottom. Okay, so that's also going to keep the container a lot cooler than if you were to have like one smooth piece of black plastic. Okay, so these containers not only air prune, but they keep the media cool. So another advantage of these containers is, I'm just going to make believe this is a bigger container. Okay, you clip these zip ties to open them up. Okay, and then you can just make a bigger ring, backfill it with more media for a bigger container. So that's what we do outdoors. You might have a 30-gallon container. You can't pick that up easily, but you can easily just pop this open, okay, make a new ring, and backfill. Let me show you how we put together the Root Builder 2s. There's 3 parts to the Root Builder 2 containers. You've got a couple of zip ties, you've got the disc for the bottom, and the sheet. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take notice, you want to make sure that these nipples are facing downwards. Okay? So the nipples are facing downwards, this is the top of the container. Okay? So now we're going to take the disc and we're going to put it with the ridges up into this bottom row of nipples here. And the key is to make sure that you have it stretched out nice and tight. Okay? And you want to have it overlap 2 holes, 2 units here. Okay? So I'm holding the bottom with one hand. What I do is I pass the zip tie through. Then I'm just going to pass it back through on the other side. And then I'm going to cinch it up. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the top here. That shows how we build the Root Builder 2 containers. Another product that we have here is the Root Maker 2 propagation flats. These are very important. Dr. Carl Whitcomb invented these containers. He's put 40 years of research into air pruning, And what he discovered was that the first 4 inches is the most crucial. You don't want to let your root go really long before you start pruning it. Okay, and he did tests at 2, 4, 6, and even larger containers, and he discovered that by pruning the roots in a smaller size, like a 4-inch, okay, that's where you get the best branching, the best production of these fibrous roots as a start. The worst thing you could do is start a plant and let it get all wrapped up and then try to recover from that. So we want to discourage the wrapping right from the very beginning, and that's why we use the Rootmaker 2 propagation flats. Another product we have is the Root Trapper 2. Now, these bags are designed to trap the roots and prune them that way instead of air pruning. So what happens is, when the root hits the sidewall, it gets caught in this material. It can't go any further, so it has to branch out. And it produces the same type of fibrous root system that we get out of the air pruning. So why would we use one container over the other? Well, we might use the Root Trapper 2s in a situation where we don't have as much water. Okay, you're going to conserve 20 to 30% more water using the Root Trapper 2 than these containers. The other thing is, because they're white, they stay cooler. So water conservation as well as staying cool. They come in a variety of sizes, everywhere from 1 gallon to 60 gallon and up. They're nice and portable. So, having a lot of 60-gallon containers, can take up a lot of space, where these containers can be folded up and stored neatly. For more information on air pruning containers by Rootmaker, contact Everest Garden Supply at 888-EGS-2007. That's 888-347-2007.